My wife said, "Your drinking drove me to cheat." I replied, "I see no way forward." Then I quietly froze our joint accounts, sent all the screenshots to my lawyer, and told her she had until Sunday to pack her bags. I just smiled, because she still has no idea I found the messages to the other men too. Original post: I am 34. My wife, Sarah, is 32. We have been married for 3 years, together for 5. We don't have any kids yet, but that was supposed to be the next step. We had a plan. Move closer to my family, buy a bigger house, and start trying by next spring. That was the life we were building. Or the life I thought we were building. Don't miss the twist. Subscribe, and help us reach 1,000 subscribers. The feeling that something was wrong started last fall. It was not a sudden event. It was a slow drift. Sarah became more protective of her phone. She started working late more often, which was not unusual for her job, but the frequency increased. When she was home, she was distant. She would be physically present in the room, but her mind was somewhere else. I felt a wall between us that had never been there before. I tried to talk to her about it. Multiple times. Each time she would turn it back on me. She said I was being insecure. She said I was codependent. She told me my anxiety was creating problems that did not exist. I started to believe her. I thought maybe I was the problem. The stress at my own job was high, and I started drinking more than I should have. It began as a beer or 2 after work to unwind. Then it became 3 or 4. Soon 5 or 6 beers a night felt normal. It was a stupid way to cope. It did not silence my worries. It just made them blurry. The drinking gave her a perfect excuse. Whenever I would bring up her distance, she would point to my beer. She said it was hard to connect with me when I was numbing myself every night. She was not entirely wrong, and it made me feel guilty. That guilt was a weapon she used to keep me from digging deeper. I knew something was wrong, but she made me feel like my own behavior was the cause. The moment of clarity came 2 weeks ago. It was a Tuesday night. Sarah had fallen asleep on the couch, which was not unusual. Her phone was on the coffee table next to her. It was face down. Usually, she took it to bed with her, but I guess she forgot. I walked past it to go to the kitchen, and the screen lit up with a notification. It was from a man named David. The message preview was simple. "Thinking of you." I stood there for a long time just looking at the phone. I had told myself I would never violate her privacy. I believed that trust was the foundation of our marriage. But in that moment, I realized the foundation was already gone. I felt a strange calm wash over me. I was not angry, I was not sad, I just felt a cold need to know the truth. I picked up her phone. I knew her passcode. She had told it to me years ago so I could use her phone for directions if mine died. She never changed it. I opened her messages. The thread with David went back to last November. It was all there. Declarations of love. Plans to meet. Explicit descriptions of what they had done together. Intimate pictures she had sent him. Pictures he had sent her. It was worse than I could have imagined. This was not a simple mistake. It was a complete, separate life she was living. And it was not just him. As I kept scrolling, I found other conversations. Flirtatious messages with at least 3 other men. Nothing physical, from what I could tell. But the emotional betrayal was just as deep. She was seeking validation from anyone who would give it to her. I did not wake her up. I did not throw the phone against the wall. I walked back to our bedroom and sat on the edge of the bed in the dark. I took out my own phone and started taking pictures of her screen. Every message. Every photo. I documented everything. When I was done, I put her phone back on the coffee table, exactly where I found it. Then I went into the closet, packed a single bag with a week's worth of clothes, my work laptop, and my passport. I walked out of the house, got in my car, and drove to a hotel an hour away. The next morning, I checked into a program to address my drinking. Update 1: I spent 2 weeks away. The first week was focused on getting my head clear. I attended meetings, spoke with a therapist, and stopped drinking completely. The clarity was painful. It forced me to see the last year for what it was, not what I had hoped it was. I was living in a fog of denial, and the alcohol had been my way of staying there. Sarah had been lying to my face for almost a year while I was questioning my own sanity. During that time, she called and texted me constantly, At first, she sounded angry. She demanded to know where I was. Then she sounded worried. She said she was scared, that she needed me. Then she started pleading. She said she knew she had been distant, that she was sorry, and that we could fix whatever was wrong. I did not answer a single call or text. I needed to do this on my own terms. I planned my return for a Sunday afternoon. I texted her that morning and told her I would be home around 3, and that we needed to talk. She replied immediately, saying she could not wait to see me, and that she loved me. The words felt hollow. When I walked into the house, she was waiting in the living room. She had cleaned the entire place. She was wearing a dress I had always liked. She had been crying. She rushed to hug me, but I put my hand up to stop her. I told her to sit down. My voice was calm and even. I was surprised at how steady I felt. I sat in the chair across from her. I did not raise my voice. I did not accuse her. I just stated facts. "Sarah, I know about your affair with David," I said. Her face went pale. The performance fell away instantly. "What are you talking about?" "I don't know anyone named David," she said. Her voice trembled. I did not argue with her. I just continued. "I know it started last November. I know you tell him you love him. I know you have been meeting him at hotels while you were supposedly working late. I know about the pictures you send him." She started to sob, shaking her head. "This is because you were drinking. You're being paranoid. You're imagining things." It was the same script she had used for months. But it had no power over me anymore. I reached into my jacket pocket and pulled out my phone. I had saved one of the pictures she sent him to my main screen. It was a photo of her in our bed, a picture I had never seen before. I did not show it to her. I just held the phone in my hand. "I have pictures of the messages, Sarah," I said quietly. "All of them. Do you really want to continue this lie?" Her entire body seemed to collapse. The fight went out of her. The denial crumbled into a confession choked out between sobs. But then the blame began. It was exactly what I expected. She said my drinking had pushed her away. She said she felt lonely and neglected. She claimed I had created the distance between us, and she had just sought comfort somewhere else. I listened to all of it without interrupting. I let her say everything she needed to say. When she was finished, there was a long silence. She looked at me, expecting me to yell, to argue, to show some kind of emotional reaction. I gave her nothing. "I have been out of town for 2 weeks," I said. "I have not had a single drink in that time. I am getting help for myself, because I used alcohol to cope with the pain of knowing my wife was lying to me. Your choices are your own. They have nothing to do with me." I stood up. "I sent you a message last night," I continued. "I told you I could not see a way forward. I meant it. I will be staying here. I need you to find somewhere else to stay." Her eyes widened in disbelief. "You're kicking me out? After everything? I thought we were going to work on this. I'm willing to go to therapy." "There is nothing to work on," I said. "The person I thought I was married to does not exist." I walked to the door. I had a friend waiting in his car down the street. I was not going to stay there with her. "You have until tomorrow afternoon to pack your things. After that, I am changing the locks." I walked out of the house and closed the door behind me, leaving her alone with the truth. Update 2. The day after our conversation, I had the locks on the house changed. I had already spoken to a lawyer. She was one of the best in the city, known for being sharp and efficient. I followed her advice to the letter. I went to the bank and froze our joint savings account. I opened a new account in my name only and had my paycheck redirected there. I left our joint checking account open, but I transferred most of the money out, leaving just enough for her to live on for a couple of weeks. I wanted the separation to be clean, not cruel. Sarah did not take it well. She moved in with her parents temporarily. Then the smear campaign began. She told all of our mutual friends that I had a severe drinking problem, and that I had abandoned her in a drunken rage. She painted herself as the victim, a loyal wife who had been pushed to her limit by an alcoholic husband. A few of our friends believed her. They sent me angry texts, telling me I needed to get help and apologize to my wife. I did not respond to them. To the friends who mattered, the ones who had known me for years, I did something different. I invited 2 of my closest friends and one of our mutual couple friends over for dinner. I told them I needed to talk to them about what was happening with Sarah and me. I calmly laid out the timeline. I told them about her distance, my anxiety, and how I had started drinking to cope. Then, I showed them a small, curated selection of the evidence. I did not show them the intimate pictures. I showed them the messages. The declarations of love to another man. The cold way she spoke about me. The date stamps that proved this had been going on for nearly a year. Their reactions were immediate. They were shocked, then angry on my behalf. They apologized for ever doubting me. They were the ones who corrected the narrative among our wider circle of friends. The truth spread quickly. The angry texts from her supporters stopped. Instead, I started getting messages of support. My lawyer also helped me find a private investigator. It did not take him long to find out about David. It turned out David was married. He had 2 young children. He was a senior manager at a rival company to Sarah's. The PI gave me a full report, including his wife's name and social media profiles. I sat with that information for a week. I debated what to do with it. In the end, I decided the truth was the only way forward for everyone. I created an anonymous email account. I sent a single email to David's wife. The subject line was simple: your husband. In the body of the email, I attached 5 screenshots of the most damning conversations between David and Sarah. I did not add any text. I just sent the proof and let it speak for itself. I also sent a similar package to the human resources department at both Sarah's and David's companies. Their employee handbooks had clear policies about relationships between competing firms that could create a conflict of interest. The fallout was swift. David's wife filed for divorce. He was fired from his job for violating company policy and ethics clauses. Sarah was also fired. Her company could not risk the liability. Her parents were furious, not just about the affair, but about the public humiliation and the loss of her career. Within a month, her entire life had unraveled. She had no job, no husband, and most of our mutual friends had cut ties with her. She was left with nothing but the consequences of her actions. I took no joy in her destruction, but I felt a quiet sense of justice. Update 3. About 6 weeks after I kicked her out, Sarah reached out to me. She sent me a long email. It was filled with apologies and regret. She said she had made a terrible mistake, that she had been lost and confused, but now she understood everything she had thrown away. She claimed she had been doing a lot of soul searching and had started therapy. She wanted to meet, to talk things over, to see if there was any chance we could salvage something from the wreckage. I thought about ignoring the email. My lawyer had advised me to keep all communication through her. But a part of me needed to see her one last time to close this chapter for myself. I agreed to meet, but I set the conditions. We would meet in a public place, a coffee shop halfway between my house and her parents' place. We would only talk for an hour. And it would be the last time we spoke directly without lawyers present. She agreed immediately. When I saw her walking toward the coffee shop, I barely recognized her. She looked tired and thin. The confidence she always carried was gone. She was wearing simple clothes, no makeup. She looked defeated. We sat at a small table in the corner. She ordered a black coffee. I ordered nothing. She started by apologizing again. She said all the things she thought I wanted to hear. She took full responsibility. She did not mention my drinking once. She said she was horrified by her own behavior and that she would spend the rest of her life trying to understand why she did it. It was a good performance. But that is all it was. The words were right, but the emotion behind them felt rehearsed. Then she made her plea. She asked for a second chance. She talked about the life we had planned, the house, the kids. She said we could still have it all, that this was just a deep wound that we could heal together. She started to cry, reaching across the table to take my hand. I moved it away. I let her finish and then I spoke. My voice was low and steady. "Sarah, I have heard your apology," I said. "But I do not believe it. You are not sorry for what you did. You are sorry you got caught. You are sorry you lost your job, your husband, and your reputation. You had nearly a year to tell me the truth. You had dozens of opportunities when I came to you and told you I was in pain, when I asked you if there was someone else. You chose to lie every single time. You called me paranoid and made me question my own sanity. I leaned forward slightly. This is not a wound, Sarah. This is an autopsy. You killed our marriage. I am just here to sign the death certificate. Her face crumbled. The last bit of hope she was holding onto seemed to drain away. So that's it. You're just going to throw everything away. You threw it away, I replied. I am just cleaning up the mess. I stood up from the table. The divorce papers are already filed. Your lawyer will receive a copy this week. There is nothing left to talk about. I wish you the best, but my life no longer includes you. I turned and walked out of the coffee shop without looking back. I left her sitting there alone, surrounded by the reality she had created for herself. Final update: it has been 6 months now. The divorce was finalized last month. It was a simple process. Sarah did not fight it. She knew she had no leverage. We sold the house, and I used my share of the money to put a down payment on a smaller place for myself, closer to my family. Just as I had always planned, I have been sober since the day I left. The desire to drink is gone. I realized I was never an alcoholic. I was a man in pain using a cheap and ineffective tool to numb it. Now that the source of the pain is gone, I no longer need the tool. I feel healthier and more clear-headed than I have in years. I have reconnected with old friends and spent a lot of time with my family. I am slowly rebuilding my life, but this time, it is on a foundation of honesty. I hear things about Sarah through the grapevine. Her parents made her get a job to help pay her bills. She is working as a cashier at a retail store. David is gone. His own divorce was messy and expensive, and he has moved to another state to start over. None of the other men she was talking to were interested in a relationship with a jobless and disgraced woman. She is alone. Her attempts to rebuild her social circle have failed. People know what she did. I do not feel anger when I think about her. I do not feel sadness. I feel nothing at all. She is just a person I used to know, a character in a chapter of my life that is now over. The other day, I was cleaning out some old files on my computer, and I came across the folder where I had saved the pictures of her messages. I looked at the folder for a moment. Then I dragged it to the trash and emptied it. I did not need the proof anymore. I had the truth, and I had my peace. That was more than enough.